When was the exact moment you realized that it was over?
Story 4. Her ex-girlfriend, the very same one whom his mother wanted for him, answered his phone when I called him on our anniversary. About 3 years ago, I, 26F then, dated this guy, 23M then, for almost a year. We met while I was working on my master's degree and he was a student on the same university. We just saw each other in the campus one time and he kept asking me for a date. I had to include this because I want to get it out of the way that I wasn't the one who pursued him. With our age difference, some people just assumed that I was the instigator. For context, I live somewhere where the girl being older than the guy is not that usual. It's not bad per se, but it certainly causes a few eyebrows to raise when they find out that the woman in the relationship is older than the guy, even though it's just a couple or so years gap. Our culture still had this outdated notion of men being the strong, older protector of women. The younger generations aren't that judgmental, but the boomers and some Gen Xs are still set in their ways. We got a lunch date one time and then it was quickly followed by another then another. The next thing I knew was we were officially in a relationship. He was so sweet and caring at first. Maybe it was because he was younger and he had something to prove that he was also persistent with, often waiting for me to finish my work. I also worked part-time in a nearby cafe, as well as did some buy and sell online. He was a student with no other obligations. This also explained why I was the one with money and would often buy him things when I thought he needed them. He didn't have much money to buy me things, but as I said, he was so caring and attentive that I didn't care. That was during the first 2 months of our relationship. Then I met his mother. He brought me to their home and his parents were there. His dad appeared neutral, meaning he was nice as he would be to any other guests. His mother was a different story. I hadn't even stepped a literal foot in their home and she already made me feel like I was an insect coming in. From what I could tell, my boyfriend wasn't exactly a mama's boy. He had a typical respectful mother-son relationship with her, that's it. She wasn't even subtle about her dislike of me. She immediately made a joke about my and my boyfriend's age difference, which was just 3 years. She kept asking her son in front of me why he went for an older woman. She even said his ex-girlfriend was just the right age for him. I told him later that his mom obviously didn't like me. He dismissed it, saying it's just his mom being mom. I thought that was it. I would only see his mom maybe once in a blue moon, I thought. But for some reason, she was able to send me an online message berating me for asking his son to buy me a gift. The gift she referred to was just an event shirt from our university that was sold for cheap. I replied with the most respect I could muster that I did not ask his son to buy me something. She said I implied it. Another time, she sent me a message berating me again for apparently emotionally blackmailing him to take me to an event when he was supposed to be studying. I did not reply to that one. There were others more. But one message that caught my attention was when she said something like I shouldn't have asked him to go with me on a date because he already promised this girl to help her with something. The girl was his ex-girlfriend before me. That shouldn't have meant anything other than the mom's usual guilt-tripping tactic. And I knew I should have trusted him. But truth be told, we were already having problems outside his mom's interference. He started becoming secretive in his actions, just little things that were just not suspicious at first but became so when they were done often and regularly. He started checking his phone in an angle that was turned away from me. Or when he got messages, he just wouldn't check on them when I was with him. I asked him about it, but again, he claimed it was just all in my head. There was a time when he was supposed to meet me after his class, but he didn't even message me to say he couldn't make it. I was left waiting for him for an hour, all the time calling his phone unsuccessfully. He later claimed something came up and his phone was on silent. No apology whatsoever. I caught him red-handed when we were in my apartment and having another argument about something. I said it was hard to trust him when he couldn't even tell me why he ignored my messages. He handed me his phone and told me to check it if I was so paranoid. I did. There was no message threat from his ex-girlfriend or any suspicious girl. And wouldn't you know it? While I was checking his phone, the ex-girlfriend sent a message asking him if he was sure because she'd be there. The message obviously wasn't the first message she sent. It could only mean that they were regularly exchanging messages and he just deleted the thread before showing me his phone. This was our first major argument. He admitted that they were sending messages, but I wouldn't understand it, so he just didn't tell me about it. He claimed there was nothing going on, but the fact that he had to hide it from me meant that it was more than just exchanging messages. The last one even implied that they were going to meet up somewhere. I was a sucker, I know, but I forgave him after just a day of him professing his love for me and vowing that his ex-girlfriend was now just a friend. That wasn't the last time that happened though. Similar issues arose, and he always chalked them up to my being paranoid or being untrusting. The last straw was on our first anniversary. We already made plans to hang out. However, on that day, instead of greeting me, he just sent me a text saying he couldn't make it because he had to do important schoolwork. We were going to meet at a place near his home, and I was already there when I received his message. I called his phone in a bid to get him to change his mind or at least let me be a part of his day. Pathetic, I know. But anyway, he didn't answer his phone. Rather, his ex-girlfriend answered his phone. And I knew that voice. I saw videos of him with her on social media. The ex-girlfriend answered the phone with a voice that I could only describe as smug. I disconnected the phone and went to his house immediately. His mother was at the door, looking rather pleased that I charged to their home distraught. She told me I shouldn't be there because her son was busy. I ignored her and went straight to his room. And as I knew it, his ex-girlfriend was there, but he wasn't. He was in the bathroom taking a bath. His ex-girlfriend just smirked and exited the room. He finished his bath not long after and went to his room. He was surprised I was there. I asked him what she was doing in his room. He claimed he didn't know because he didn't ask her to come to their house. We were already shouting at each other. I was so fed up. I asked him so many questions, but he all just claimed was I did not trust him enough. I had to get out of there. As I was leaving, I saw his mom and the ex-girlfriend in the living room. They looked like they were successful in their plan, not even hiding their smiles. I did not say anything to them. I just ran away. I thought, in my pitiful little brain, that he would run after me. He did not. He did not even call me or text me after a day. I think he only sent me a message because I didn't do it first. Maybe he thought I would come to my senses and apologize. I was pathetic. But after his first message since our fight, with him just telling me that we should get over this, I told him this was the end. It was about a week after when perhaps he realized that it was really over that he stalked me in my work to talk to me. I already blocked him from all my social media. He swore he didn't know she was coming. His mom invited her over because they were friends. He admitted, though, that he bailed on me on that day because he was asked by his friends to play video games. I think he was forced to admit that so I would see that he was telling the truth as well about the ex-girlfriend. It was more than just his ex-girlfriend answering his phone. It was more than just his mom apparently orchestrating the whole thing. It was even more than him bailing out on me on our anniversary, no less. And he didn't see all that. In his little mind, he thought that an apology would fix all of it. I realized that I was dating a man-child. I was still hurting and I still loved him then. However, in this I was so proud of myself for not giving in. I told him that I couldn't stay in a relationship with his mother and his ex-girlfriend always meddling in our affairs. And while I did love him, I also loathed him so much. So he could go just EFF himself.
If you liked the story, please give it a thumbs up. Share the video and subscribe for more. Thank you very much.